Hey guys, I'm Ghionis from Australia and the USA. I want to tell a story. My wife Melissa, I was back when we were engaged, and I was introducing my parents to Melissa as this is the girl that's going to finally make me the happiest man in the world. And I went to my mum's place, and as any Greek mother would do, she actually put on a big Greek feast, and they fell in love instantly. My mum and Melissa are just the best of friends, and it was a real bond, literally within minutes of them meeting each other. After we had this big, beautiful dinner, we sat down on a sofa pretty much like this one. Mum was in the middle, Melissa was on one side, I was on the other, and Mum brought out all the family albums. There was 5 or 6 of them. She sat down, and Melissa and I and her, we just looked through the albums and we went through every single photograph, and I forgot most of the stories, and Mum told every story of every picture and turned the pages like it was priceless. And we often refer to photography as priceless, but we don't act like it. We're living in a disposable society, and there's a cliche that says that you would run into a burning home and risk your life to actually fish out your wedding album, your photographs. You're not going to run into a burning home and try to find that disc of JPEGs that are somewhere. I will not photograph a wedding without producing an album for the couple. I just don't give them a choice. I don't care if you're a genius, I don't care if you're a tech guru, you have to get an album. Look, I've been a professional photographer for 22 years, and the way I used to lay out my albums, in fact, I didn't lay out my albums. I had to draw boxes, draw a box within a box, and then put a number in, and then I would have to show the physical proofs and say, well, this photograph is going to go here, and that photograph is going to go here, and that's going to go with it. What do you think? Would you like to buy it? Up until recently as well, Fundy Software has just literally changed how fast you can actually design an album, let alone it actually affects the sales in a positive way. It is so simple, it is so easy. The drop zone technology is absolutely incredible. I think that really put Fundy above the rest. Thank you, Fundy, for an incredible software and revolutionizing pretty much the way software is done, and giving us actually some power over it. I've sat down with Andrew Funderburg, and he said, what do you want out of this software? And slowly, these features are coming out. So it's actually someone who listens to photographers. We appreciate Fundy, and it's increased our sales and certainly made our life incredibly easier when it comes to design software. We live in about 8 months of the year in the US and about 4 months of the year in Australia. When we're at home in Australia, it's all about family. We make it a point to at least see Mum at least once or twice a week. We laugh, we cry, we yell, we scream, and we play cards, and it's really the highlight of our week. We just absolutely love doing that. A week before WPPI last year in 2015, I got probably the worst phone call of my life. My brothers actually rang me up and said that our Mum suffered a stroke. Within 2 hours we're at the airport, we caught a flight, and my brother said Mum might be dead by the time you arrive. We literally went straight to the hospital, and there was Mum looking the most helpless I've ever seen her. Half her body was paralyzed, as happens with stroke victims, and only weeks before that happened with Mum, I remember one of those Sunday afternoons that we'd spend half a day with Mum after having lunch. We get in the car, and very much a Greek tradition is that you will walk out and wave goodbye to the person that you are saying goodbye to. And so she was actually sitting there, or standing and resting up against her gate with this beautiful smile that I think is probably the most beautiful smile I remember her having, and she looked so content. I rolled down the window. No, I didn't roll down, I pressed a button, the window came down, and I just took my iPhone out and I took a quick little shot. The fact is that an image represents a moment, and that moment is associated with a certain feeling. And if you ask me, Jerry, would you rather Mum pass away overnight or be alive for another 10 years? I've got to say, I would rather remember her like this. I would rather remember her like a crazy Greek woman who just screams with a passion, loves with a passion. She's a crazy but passionate woman. And the fact is that having a photo like this to remember her by, I've won grand awards with photographs. They don't mean anything to me. This one is you would call it a disposable shot that was taken on an iPhone, but it appreciated in value the moment that I knew that my mother would never actually hug me ever with 2 hands again. Have the clarity when the going is good. Have the clarity when you're shooting for your clients. When I photograph a wedding and I see grandparents, I see parents, many people dismiss family shots as boring. I say that this is a true legacy. Like I said, I wish you the same clarity. I think about her in this photograph. I don't want to focus on where she is right now. I want to remember her as a beautiful woman. Thank you. There it is. Oh, I miss her, baby.